the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed, laser scan tracks, fully dynamic, real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The Milo gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Swack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Seven races in here for Saturday Night Racing League, live here tonight at the Martinsville Speedway. A dominated season by Jeff Wright. He's going to start back in the 11th position tonight. Chad Klinger putting it up on the pole. I am here alongside my co-commentator tonight, Connor Horn. And Connor, as we go around here to pace laps, it's exciting to see. We've got a lot of different names out here that are looking to capitalize on Jeff Wright having an off week.
Yeah, he's not really, he's a road course king and he has 4 wins to his name this season, but he doesn't really have the short tracks down. Didn't have that great of a run at Bristol, but kind of, as in his own words, got a little lucky to get the finish he did there. Martinsville is a little off pace here as well. This is one of those tracks where you don't have grip for even 4 or 5 laps. You think you might have more grip at a short track. It's not really the case. You'll see once we go to the live scene, there's rubber all over this track. These guys are sliding from the very beginning once they get off pit road. You have no grip from the beginning, and you're going to have to manage your stuff so much for these 200 laps.
Oh, we're taking you through your grid now and starting up there on the pole. We had it up there on your screen for just a second. Let's take you through the actual grid. Reggie Ortega is going to start in that second row. That's going to belong Reggie Ortega and Ray Massey. Next behind them, it's going to be Michael Sturgill and Jonathan Cofield. Michael Kostek and Ryan Carlisle in 8th. We've got Joshua Banks and Joseph McWhorter rounding out your top 10.
And then outside the top 10, we talked about Jeff Wright. Maybe an off week for him at Martinsville this week, but he is starting in that 11th position, so you never quite know. Jonathan Smith, who showed speed last week, starting alongside him in 12th. And then the row number 7, Caleb Weekly, Taylor Butcher Benjamin, 2 drivers who have speed on the short run. Especially last week, that number 10 went through the field very quickly, albeit all green flag racing. Row number 8, 99 of Brandon Wallace, who had a struggle last week at Texas himself. Actually ran the same exact lap as Taylor Butcher Benjamin, which is incredible. AJ Stravato, a little surprised to see him down here as well in the 16th position. We'll see if he can get a clean race just like we saw last week at Texas. Then row number 9, Eric Hutton, our Daytona winner alongside Bailey Turner, who's still looking for a win after his, I believe, his last start at Bristol didn't go his way. Neither did the start at Vegas. And then row number 10, Charles Feltz and Mark McFadden.
So out here on the track now, Chuck Sweeting, Mark Whitley, Stephen McDonald, Clifton Cockrell, Christopher Reese, Max Cost. That's going to do it for your field here tonight. Chad Klinger going to lead them off. Here we go, getting ready to go green. Green flag is out. We're live and racing with Alex Bell into turn 1. And to lead lap number 1, it's going to be Chad Klinger, and he's holding off a very hungry 15. He had the lead into turn 1, lost it very quickly. The 09 took advantage of that short run.
Almost looked like he jumped the start. Bell was hanging back and also got to turn 1 way quicker than Chad Klinger. I wonder if he jumped the start because he immediately gave it back to Klinger, but Erickson doesn't care if you do that or not. As the caution's out, crash into turn 1, 72 of Jonathan Smith.
72 of Smith goes into the outside wall. Doesn't look like he got too much damage there. Maybe didn't even touch the wall. Looks pretty clean.
Wondering if someone did touch him. It's a product of Martinsville for sure, but like you said, fenders look like they're on it. Doesn't look like he hit much of anything. As we'll look on board the replay. Started back near our cut AJ Stravato. Taylor Butcher Benjamin there as well.
Rewinded a little bit too far, but here it is. A little help from Stravato.
A lot of help from Stravato, but for Martinsville standards, it was pretty clean. Really, the bump was about all that happened there, and did a 360 or close to it. Got back going.
And here's the help.
Oh!
That's okay. That is Martinsville in a nutshell. That's what it is. I mean, it's a short track. We're going to see that kind of thing all night tonight. You're going to see tempers flare up. You're going to see guys get tired of each other. And by lap 200, there's probably going to be some feuds on race 7.
Yeah, we already have a feud on lap 3. If I had to guess, I wouldn't expect Jonathan Smith to be happy about that happening to him on lap 3, but at least at the very least, he is clean and no worries there. Didn't even come down to pit road for a fresh set of tires, so Jonathan Smith will be all good to go for this next restart. A few drivers came down to pit, whether to actually take tires, I don't think so. Some drivers topping off on fuel, Chuck Sweeting, Steve McDonald, and now AJ Stravato just checking his nose to make sure everything's all right.
I was trying to set up all these scenes, get all these points, get all these things set up correctly. But at the end of the day, all we're worried about right now is who can capitalize on the 48 car. He's had a dominating performance thus far with 5 wins in the season. And right now, Chad Klinger, who has been right on his heels at every track we've went to, is leading this race. Do you think tonight's the night that the 09 can seal the deal?
I think so. It's going to be one of those races where track position is going to be very vital because not only track position means you're pretty much close to the lead, but also means you're likely away from all the chaos that you're going to see in the mid-pack. So I think there hasn't been a race this season where it's been more valuable to lead than this track at Martinsville. So getting the pole is a big start. You got the pole by 300ths over Alex Bell and Reggie Ortega. Those two tied for second as well. But getting the lead here is so important, and Klinger's looking good to keep that lead depending on how this race goes.
Well, getting ready to go back green for the second time here tonight. Pace car pulls off. Back live and racing. Geico restart zone. And Klinger's going to hit the loud pedal into turn 1.
Oh, Bell got tapped to the behind. There goes Cofield around, and that might be the big one.
That is a big one. It's got our points leader involved. It's got the 35 involved. Big crash there on lap 8.
Ooh, Joshua Banks has a lot of damage as well. Yep, Jeff Wright, he does it. That's probably the most damage we'll see the 48 all season. Bailey Turner, Caleb Weekly.
You see Cofield gets a little help from the 35, and that's just maybe one of those instances where judgment in the corner was just a little bit off. Everybody's braking point is different.
It really started with Alex Bell getting tapped, and Cofield was trying to check up for that, and couldn't see. It looked like Joshua Banks couldn't check up in time, and then that starts to stack up.
So you had the 58, the 24, the 13, the 68, the 48, the 35, all involved in that. Did you like how I just clicked them off one at a time? Just
yeah,
boom, boom, boom.
Great.
We're getting too good at this.
That's how we got to do it. All of them were involved in it. Luckily for all the guys on the inside line, it happened on the top line, or else that could have been much, much worse. But even still, that took out at least a third, took damage to at least a third of our field, I think.
So Chad Klinger, who I don't think he's even got the tires heated up yet on lap 10, has led every single lap thus far in this race. And I know Joshua Banks is a fan favorite to come here to these short tracks, but now the 35 has a little bit of damage. He's going to come down pit road. We do have an opportunity to fix that. But as this race goes on, we saw what happened at Bristol. Bristol was probably the most caution-plagued race we've had all season long. Does Martinsville kind of fit in that same realm? You think it'll beat the record?
We're not off to a good start in that regard, I'll say that, but I think sooner or later we'll get spread out. If things get spread out at Martinsville, it becomes hard to have a yellow. It's so hard to get spread out, and it's only gotten worse as iRacing's gotten older, so I think these guys will get into a groove at some point. I don't expect that record to be broken, but you never know.
You never know. Records are made to be broken, and
Well, I wouldn't
Chad
think
Klinger
not those
is in
ones.
the right. Yeah, we don't want to break those ones, but they do happen with 25 cars out here on the track. Look at guys like Alex Bell, who went down pit road. He's going to get some service to this machine, and he might be in a situation where he's not losing anything. You said he might have jumped the start, so maybe the 15 is just coming down pit road. He's going to take 4 fresh tires and see what he can do later in this race.
I think he's going to get waved around the pace car. I'm not sure. I believe a lot of people got caught behind the pace car in that crash and lost the lap, so some drivers are going to get the wave because of that. And I think Alex Bell is one of those as he's coming around. He's starting to double up at the front of the field as see what happens. Still a lot of drivers in places they probably shouldn't be, but we are doubled up right now. You can see all the cars that are damaged still catching up to the field. Banks, Wright, Bailey, Turner. 24 actually looks all right after repairing it as that restart gets delayed. But yeah, a lot of good contenders with damage.
Yeah, they had to delay the restart. Some guys hadn't caught back up to the field. And like you said, they got caught behind the pace car, got trapped a lap down. And iRacing's time against scoring, the admins took over.
Yeah, iRacing time scoring does not like when you delay the restart, which is funny because it's an iRacing mechanic, but they're not used to it at times. As a pace car will come out of pit road and recollect Chad Klinger here to get this restart going once again, I assume.
This is probably the safest these guys have felt since the beginning of this race. We know that you can miss your braking point, you can make a mistake, but ultimately you're going to have to come out here and just have some guts and move that guy out of the way, put yourself in the right situation at the right time, and don't make anyone mad because they will see you on the other side of the track. Back live at the paperclip for the 3rd time. Klinger into turn 1.
Or bumping. It looked like Michael Kostick didn't get going, got a bump for McWhorter, but we're clean through 1 and 2 this time.
Sturgill on the inside of Reggie Ortega for the lead. Then we have Ray Massey just behind them, another short track specialist.
Trying to get to the bottom of the driver ahead of Reggie Ortega. Can't quite do it as the top 5 or so single out. Top 4, and then Kostick's, behind McWhorter and Carwile behind. They're side by side for about the 6th position.
Riding on board now with Joseph McWhorter, and that's a full-on VR setup right there. So you want to talk about full immersion? Joseph McWhorter's got it.
Yes, he does. I couldn't do that stuff. I'd probably throw up. So I'll stay with single monitor for the time being.
Single monitor. I tried the triple screens for a little while, and even that, man, that can make you nauseous quick.
One day. It's not for me, though. McWhorter's making that VR work pretty well. He's been fast all season long, just hasn't been able to put himself in a position to win a race, but he's got the speed for it, for sure, as he's up to 6th right now, as all the battling's been behind outside the top 15 just about, as Adrian Stravato continues to try to get back up through the field, as there's some side-by-side action up ahead of him, but Stravato's carving through the field right now. Chuck Sweeting trying to follow, passing around the outside at Martinsville, so difficult to do, but easier to do when the tires are fresh.
On the outside of Mark McFadden there, and that is for the 16th position. The 75 is going to get it. Here we're looking at the back of AJ Stravato coming off of turn 4. Now, I can tell you one thing's for certain. I'm not a short track guy. I've done a little bit of the BTDY short track series, and I'm just happy to finish the race. Is that kind of the mindset that some of these guys have, is just survive this night and get through it?
Yeah, it's always survival first, good finish second at tracks like this, Martinsville, Bristol, Richmond. It's just try to keep the nose clean. You keep the nose clean, you know, like I said, you got two things, survival and good finish on your mind. If you survive, they kind of go hand in hand. You survive, you're probably going to get a good finish regardless of how fast you are, where your pace is. So it's always about keeping the nose clean, which a lot of drivers haven't done already, only 22 laps in, already a lot of damage to some cars, but that's the name of the game.
Name of the game, Michael Sturgill. Good to see his run so far. He is in the second position right now. Started fifth, picked him up quick. Even with all those cautions, he was able to carve through and make quick work of the guys in front of him. Now trying to chase down Chad Klinger that has a 5/10 of a second lead. I was going to say 9/10, but it was 4
Oh, trouble, turn 2. I think the 71 just got spun off the front bumper of Joshua Banks.
That was the 71. Mark McFadden gets turned. He's got a little nose damage. Let's see if we can go back and figure out where that came from. You said it was off of someone's hood.
Of a certain number 35's hood, I would say.
He's got the 24 Bailey Turner behind him as well. There it is, 35 for sure.
Took a pretty big hit to the inside wall.
Yeah, that's going to crinkle that nose in pretty good. Let's see if we can go back and ride on board with a 35. Let's see what he saw.
No, it's all there. Wow, Bailey
That's
barely
quick,
got.
huh?
Yeah, Bailey Turner barely got no damage out of that. But you'll see right here, Banks has got a run on the top, gets to the right rear of McFadden, and then the 71's going to pull through the center and clear the 35.
It's loose. He got a little bit loose, and that checked him up. I think he was on the throttle. It stepped out just enough to where he lost speed, and they were running so close that I don't think Banks had time to even react to that or see it happening.
Definitely a possibility. Definitely looked like the 71 throttled up center and then had a moment. I think he got caught. I really think he got caught in between giving the 35 the outside or clearing up. And he ends up lifting. The 35 is not expecting it, and that's what happens.
Just a crazy chain of reactions. That's what this track is. It's dominoes. And you saw dominoes on lap 2. These guys literally dominoed 4 or 5. Well, no, actually it was, lap 11?
7.
Was 7? We went back green. Whenever we went back green after the first initial start, we wadded up like 8 cars because of dominoes.
Lap 8 to be exact.
It's an intense feeling here at Martinsville because you want to go to outer space. You know those simulators they put you in for G-forces? That's what Martinsville is, continuously.
Definitely a pattern that you have to get into, a rhythm you have to get into at short tracks like Martinsville. You kind of get lost, dazed and confused when you run lap after lap, but drivers haven't been able to get into that groove yet. We haven't really gone lap after lap yet. We've gone about, I would say, 9 laps as our longest run so far, so sooner or later we'll get to that point.
I've heard this place compared to 2 drag strips with turns connecting them. Jack Klinger is going to go back on the hard, and I see this, the 09 and the 90. One of these restarts, the 09 is going to lose the advantage. Green flag back in the air. McWhorter up to the top 5. Started back in 10th.
Yep, he gets that position from Ray Massey on the restart, and they'll get away from the battle for 6th. Michael Kostick and Eric Hutton. Hutton up from 17th into his 6th position already, so he's got some speed tonight. Winner at Daytona trying to battle on that top line, but Kostick much better through the center, rolling that curb, that bottom line.
One back up here to Reggie Ortega and the 90 of Sturgill. They're side by side for the 2nd position. Ortega looking really hot, and it looks like McWhorter's trying to follow suit into 1.
This is kind of the bad part of starting on the outside of row number 1. You're vulnerable to 3rd place, and then after 3rd place gets under you, it could start a chain reaction of drivers passing you. You can also get the door fed to you, like Reggie Ortega fed the door to Sturgill there, but the 90 still got a better run off of turn number 4.
And I saw that door slap happen inertia-wise, and there it is again, the 73 peeking to the inside. I thought that McWhorter was going to make contact with Ortega when they went into that corner after that door slap. They are racing hard for this 2nd position, and Sturgill's not giving up. He's holding the outside. Look at the wheel slippage. He gets back on the throttle and just spinning those tires.
And Ortega's firing it hard on entry. He's even clipping the curb the last 2 times into the corner, but he's making it work because he's keeping even on the exits compared to Sturgill. Right here, we'll see he really keeps a good exit. Sturgill gets the advantage because he's on the top, but 2's giving him a good fight, but Sturgill might have enough to clear him if he gets a good run off of 2. No, Ortega matches him at a 2 that time.
More close racing. Go back here to the 18th position. Side by side with the 35. That's Brandon Wallace. Let's get his camera up. This is what it takes to get around this place. Look how much he's working that wheel, and it's almost 90 degrees left. Now, we do have different settings. If you're not familiar with the iRacing simulator, there are settings that you can change in a fixed setup race. You have steering ratios, and we talk about 8-to-1, 10-to-1, 12-to-1. That is the amount of time, or I guess rotation, you have to put into your steering wheel. Oh, that was the 62, I do believe. They got moved.
He sure got moved there. He got the boot from who else? Joshua Banks, and Wallace is going to go around. What a save.
We're just on board with him. You want to talk about putting some wheel into it.
Wow. That was incredible to save that, but time loss is going to be huge after a slide like that.
Back up here towards the top 5, Chad Klinger has checked out from the field. He is 1.4 seconds away from Michael Sturgill. And then it's Joseph McWhorter and Reggie Ortega.
Definitely missed something with Ortega. He's got severe right front damage. We'll see him turn out turn number 4. Not sure where that came from, but he got completely whacked, but either by a car or by the wall.
Let's see if we can go back and find that.
All single file right now, as we'll see if it had something to do with McWhorter.
Car's looking clean right here, so
Sturgill got away.
Oh, it's the outside wall right there.
Oh, and
man.
then McWhorter couldn't check up and slapped them back into the wall.
It's one of those reaction. It's just happening so fast. So Ortega's going to be in the 4th position, and I don't think he's out of this by any means, but that does set you back a little bit. It can affect the handling. It can affect the top speed at the very end of that straightaway.
If only you could take the right front fender off it like Martin Truex Jr. and Dale Jr. did here when they got good finishes at Martinsville. Truex actually won when that happened to him, but yeah, you can, as much as damage is going to hurt you with new damage model, you can live with it at a track like this. Even Jeff Wright, who's up to 12th, both fenders on that front end are pretty knocked in. Joshua Banks, the same thing. You can live with that. You can get good finishes with that at short tracks especially. We saw today in real life, Justin Allgaier finished 6th, and that car was totaled, so not impossible to do it.
Living Cockrell goes completely out of the groove there for just a second, loses 3 spots. He's got Jonathan Cofield going around as well. Once you get pinned up there on the outside this late in a run, it's almost impossible to recover. It's just a freight train goes by.
Yeah, he hit the wall on entry to turn 1. That's why he was up the track, and look how much it cost him. It cost him at least 3 positions as he was 10th, now down to 13th. So he's trying to get in a groove. Bailey Turner's trying to just make up positions. He's to the inside of Jonathan Smith, who brought out our first yellow. Thought Turner had more damage on the left front, but 24 looks cool and also looks clean.
Definitely looks cool. I mean, come on, that's a throwback Jeff Gordon paint scheme.
No doubt about that. As those guys battle away, we finally, knock on wood, maybe into a little bit of a groove as we're starting to get into that point where the paperclip's going to turn into a conveyor belt. Chad Klinger's in turn number 3. Max Cost rounding out the 24-car field, or 25-car field is in the turn number 1 right now. Only a straightaway separating them.
He's side by side for just a brief second with Caleb Weekly as they go into 1 and 2. Thought maybe that 63 was going to be able to.
Oh, caution. Charles
and yellow
Phelps
is out. That is Phelps in the 76.
Get it back. Watch out, getting back going. It's going to lose a lap. That's what happens. You spin at a bad time, not going to have enough time before the whole field passes you by.
I think you just Kyle Busch it and throw it in reverse.
Yeah, I would have done it. Gives Alex Belva a lucky dog. after he got trapped a lap down. Now we might see drivers elect for their first set of tires. I would not be surprised.
All right, let's go back and see if we can find what happened. The 76 of Charles Phelps looks like he might have just got loose on his zone. Maybe up into the wall there for a brief second. Let's go back another 10 seconds or so prior to this moment.
Let's see. Letting Joshua Banks by, who's been master of the bump and run today, and yeah, just got high out of the groove and no grip up there. Slapped that inside wall pretty good.
Absolutely no grip up there at all. Interesting turn of events here.
Magic Motorsports decides to stay out.
They do. And look who's on pit road. Chad Klinger's down there. Down and away, you got Sturgill, McWhorter just behind Ray Massey. Eric Hutton coming back out. He gained a few positions there.
And who I don't see is Reggie Ortega. Looks like he's electing to repair that right front damage and give up a lot of track position to do so. So interesting strategy. Like we said, you could probably get away with that right front damage and run up the front, but he elects to get it out of the way early. Still barely, not even a quarter of the way through this race.
Able to stay on the lead lap for the two of Ortega. Charles Phelps is going to fall a lap down. He has a lot of damage that he needs to repair. Unfortunate for the 76, but Jeff Wright, I don't know. I mean, 23, 22 laps, Bailey Turner out there as well. It's going to be tough to hold these boys off. Chad Klinger has been fast, and he showed Michael Sturgill why he started up front. Sturgill struggled to keep up.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised they're trying to save a set of tires here. You do get 5 sets for a 200-lap race, so about 30 to 35 to 40 laps per set. And these guys were in that lap 8 crash, so they took a set there. So this is all just to really try to save a tire set and maybe get some track position out of it.
But at the end of the day, you've got to strategize. If it's a track that you don't normally do well at, we saw Wright able to pull something off at Bristol, and it just worked out. The victim of circumstance, maybe, we'll see, but I think right now they're just planning ahead. How can we capitalize on the situation we're in?
Yeah, definitely about capitalizing. At this point for Jeff Wright, especially with the damage, it's about minimalizing the damage, literally and figuratively. I mean, you could see that front end is pretty totaled, so track position is going to be about all he can strategize for, because all 4 quarters of that car are tucked in pretty good.
Let's see if he can tuck him into bed and hypnotize him like he has all season long. Jeff Wright going to come off of turn 4 and lead him off. Green flag back in the air. Here we go, racing Martinsville again. Klinger did a good job getting around Bailey Turner. McWhorter followed suit. The top 4 shuffling around already. Top 5 now. There's Sturgill getting around Turner. Jeff Wright, he had the advantage of having the ability to take the green flag at his discretion. Now it's going to be a little bit tougher. The 09 right up on the bumper here.
Yeah, you can see so much better through center as Chad Klinger. He's going to just pull to the inside here and likely have not much protest from the 48. Right will pinch him a little bit, but you can see the center speed's just too much to defend as Klinger goes back to the lead. McWhorter is going to be the one who gets second now. He took that position from Michael Sturgill, which is going to make a big difference as now Sturgill has to follow through.
Coming down the front straightaway, all 25 cars still on this racetrack. And it's good to see. We had a nice little stint there of about 20 so laps. I thought we were going to go green for a while. I thought.
Oh, crash! Big crash! Brandon
And
Wallace again.
just as I say that,
Yeah, that was your fault.
I jinxed everyone.
You jinxed Brandon Wallace. And someone else against the wall. Looks like Stephen McDonald.
I can tell you this, Wallace is not happy. He threw his hands up in the air, so we're going to have to go back and see exactly what happened with the 99.
So, sure they don't hit each other under yellow. They don't seem happy with either each other as some drivers pit. Banks pits, and I think the 48 or 24 did.
I have the ability to see their cameras outside of the stream, and he threw his hands straight up in the air. And it was a WTF moment for him. And I see it. And let's go on board. We get the whole story here with the 68 machine of Stephen McDonald. I'm not pointing any fingers at all. This is just one of those situations where judgment, reaction time, you got a car blinking right there in front of you. The 99 might have came up, I don't know.
Fighting for the same piece of real estate. Steve McDonald couldn't go anywhere. Brandon Wallace thought he had enough room to do that, and I don't think he did. But that happens a lot at tracks this tight, where you got two guys who are going for the same piece of real estate, and there is definitely not enough real estate for stuff like that.
Needless to say, we're in a situation here where we get green, we get some racing going, and then we get one car, two car spins. The biggest wreck we've had tonight, pretty minimal. And I would say the leaders that were up front there just a moment ago, Jeff Wright, Bailey Turner, those guys that were involved in that, they really don't suffer too much. It's going to take a lot here at Martinsville to put you completely out of contention.
It's going to take a lot more than that for sure. 99 is still going to be able to run pretty solid times, even with the left front sticking out the way it is. And 68 of McDonald, he really didn't even get much damage out of that. The 68, I don't even believe he pit. So yeah, you can get away with stuff like that. Just can't be doing it too much, as you don't want to have to be repairing it to the very end. Joshua Banks is still repairing damage. That's how bad it can get. So you don't want to get in that situation.
35 shutting it down. He's sitting there on pit road. They're going to try to pull that right front fender out, clear that tire a little bit better. He better hurry up. There he goes. All right, so we're good to go. Gonna double up this time by. Lights are out on the pace car. Sherwin Williams still up front. McWhorter. Nobody's really challenged this 09 of Chad Klinger. That's because Joshua Banks has spent most of his time either on pit road or getting wrecked. There's been a lot of situations where he's just not able to advance through the field.
And because of having to repair this all the time, he isn't getting through the field like you're talking about. He's starting at the rear, the tail end every single time. So sooner or later, they're going to run out of laps to be repairing all this damage. He's got to be aware of that.
All right, here we go again. 09 Klinger, 73 McWhorter. Off of turn 4, and green flag in the air. We're back live and racing. I hope we go green.
Oh, making contact almost for the second position. McWhorter didn't give Sturgill any room, but they come clear of it. 73 prevails. Excuse me, Hutt behind them in 4th. Jeff Wright still fighting for 5th. Ray Massey's on the top, but still losing battle for the 48.
Talked about the damage and how it's not really affecting his 48 car. At any other track would have felt like a rock, but he's able to maintain and put up a fight for the top 5. That's impressive in itself. New damage model does a great job of portraying a car that actually has some form of metal on it. I know the old damage model, it seemed like these things were made of plastic at times. I don't know if you were ever a model builder or not, but I used to do the old Revell models back in the day. And you remember if somebody shut your door too hard, it would fall off the shelf? It's kind of what the old damage model felt like at times.
Yeah, the old damage model is not something we will miss once it's completely out of the game, which maybe it will never will be out of iRacing, but we can sure hope as well. As new damage model, while it does have its flaws, I still think it's 1,000 times better, and it's cool to see it be integrated in these cars. As definitely helping these drivers be able to continue through the race, and kind of gets rid of neck code a little bit, which also helps for the close, tight racing that we see at tracks like Martinsville, and it's definitely working out tonight as it's on full display, as we got a lot of cars already damaged, as Bailey Turner was one of them, as Chad Klinger continues to lead, and Jeff Wright, like we said, both fenders, really at least 3 of the 4 fenders on that 48 are knocked in, but even on older tires, still running 6th.
I'm cool and collected as usual for the 48 car. Going around Martinsville. Like you said, you can get hypnotized here. Both corners look exactly the same. And it seems like you're pushing the brake pedal at the same time as the gas pedal. It's just such a fast transition in and out.
Oh, spin, turn 2. Reggie Ortega stopped on the track, and somehow it wasn't a yellow.
Let's see if we can go back and... It's just one of those quick caution moments that didn't happen. How did the yellow not
and they're
come out for
wrecking
that?
once again on the front stretch. Charles
That
Phelps
looks like
is around.
McFadden in that as well. Here's the spin. We just went back on a replay. It looked like the 72 got into the back of the 2, and how was that not a caution?
He fully stopped. I guess because he was going straight, it wasn't a yellow, but that was incredible. But that is not what brought out the caution, if we'll continue.
Yeah, let's go back. We're going to go with, you said the 76 is still sideways in the
still
track.
there.
He's getting pinned, and this is the second time this has happened to him where he's going to go another lap down.
Yeah, you got to get back going quicker, but he wasn't able to do it before they... That's the problem. If the field didn't split him side by side, he could have gotten going.
I think he actually got wrecked again after that.
I don't know. We'll see here.
Let's see. This is down the front straightaway, correct?
It happened down the front straightaway after Ortega's spin, which is obviously why it brought out the yellow.
So there's Ortega's spin. Everybody checks up, bunch the whole field up. Everybody gets cleared. And now we have Phelps going to the inside of the 99 of Brandon Wallace, and now they're going to come off of turn 4. This is probably where it's going to happen.
3 wide. That's not going to work at Martinsville. And Phelps comes up, and Ortega has nowhere to go.
So that's definitely the reason for it. And he gets trapped in the middle of the racetrack. You can see the leaders coming around right there.
I've never seen the field have to split him. Usually you give them one lane, but after the first 7 or 8, they didn't bother to do that, I guess. Somewhere back here, someone decided to go to the top, but either way, 76 is way more damaged and yet another lap down. As a matter of fact, he is only 1 down, so he did get the other lap back, but lost it again.
On board here with Charles Phelps, and I know it's one of those situations where you want this day to be over with. Phelps has been involved, and this would be what, the 3rd incident that I think the 76 has been directly involved in. So it's just one of those nights that you wish would just end so you can move on to a track that you're more comfortable racing at.
And it's not going to end anytime soon. We are still just under 130 laps to go once we restart this race. So you could either end it for yourself and call it a day, but you know the attrition rate skyrockets at a track like Martinsville as Jeff Wright finally pit for another set of tires. So that attrition rate goes up, and you can't really stop because you know you're going to be able to get something out of it if you just stay on track. So it's kind of a sucky situation. When you're in that situation Charles Phelps is in, but it's what you got to do.
Yeah, and we've all been there. We have tracks that we don't favor. We've all been in these situations. You know that the points are important, so you show up to these tracks. But ultimately, you see the schedule, and you have those asterisks. Everybody writes down and memorizes the schedule for these races, and they're like, I know I don't want to race there. I would rather take a cheese grater to my shins than drive at that track. That seems more comfortable. But ultimately, it's all about points. You're going to participate in it, and you try to make the best of the situation. Chad Klinger going to make the best of his situation. He has led the vast majority of laps here tonight. And I, some reason, have Joseph McWhorter, but it's 64 laps out of 72. We're back live and racing in Martinsville, and what a great start for the 09.
Well, he's been doing all night long since the initial start. Just getting good jumps and not letting McWhorter do much. McWhorter does take a look to the inside, but not even close to making that work as they all file into 3 and 4, 2 by 2. There's everyone trying to get away and get more green flag running in.
Coming off of turn 2, it looks like the top 5 has pretty much single filed out. We're going to have to go all the way back to AJ Stravado and Taylor Butcher Benjamin into 3 and 4. They just sorted that out. Further on back, it's Carlisle and Cofield. They're side by side for the 10th spot.
Carl on the bottom, not showing much speed tonight himself. Started 8th, back to 11th. And Subaru branded. You look at the front bumper, so another new manufacturer.
Subaru.
Yeah, it's changing it up.
Haven't seen that before.
Yeah, I love that you can change the logos and make. You can have a Tesla if you really want. That's why we got Clifton Cockrell in the Pontiac. So, Clifton, good run for him. He needs a good run. He is in 8th right now, so Pontiac looked cool right now. He's also got a Dodge in front of him, as everyone's still trying to single file out, but we still have a lot of 2x2 racing going on.
Riding on board with the 75 of Chuck Sweeting. Started back in 21st, he's up to 12th, and just behind that Subaru. I feel like I should be plugging Subaru right now. What makes a Subaru a Subaru?
Virginia Tech sponsored Subaru at that, as he's fighting for that top 10 position right now. Jonathan Cofield, who was the one who got spun in that lap 8 pile up as the 35 and the 24 just came together. Yeah, Banks got moved. They have history, those two.
I was trying to get the camera on that exact moment, and Banks got moved out of the way. They were 3 wide coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, it was partially caused by that contact Joshua Banks had from Bailey Turner, but fortunately no one spins that time. It does put the 35 once again to the back to 19th, as he's going to have to follow Jeff Wright through, who's on fresh tires.
If Joshua Banks wins this race, this, I guarantee, in the post-race interview will be the hardest race he's ever driven. He's went from the top 10 back to 20th, up to 13th, back to 22nd. He's been all over this track tonight. He just can't win.
Need a chart graphic to really lay that out, because he would have been all over it. As he tries to get through the field. Bailey Turner's finally trying to get through the field. I believe he's another one who has got fresher tires. I think him and Jeff Wright came down. So 24 in the 48, moving up.
And rightfully so. They stayed out longer. They are on a different strategy altogether. A little bit shorter stint for some of these guys. I'll tell you what, Chad Klinger, he's in a time zone. He's completely eliminated the feelings, the pre-race jitters. He is just out there running his line and doing a great job at it.
Just calm, cool, and collected. Nothing much else you can say about it. You get close to one another on these restarts, but he's been able to withstand the pressure ever since then. And once we do get to racing, he's able to pull out a lead. He did it the first big run we got, and he's doing it again consistently, 100ths faster than McWhorter, who's really not in the same situation. He's under pressure for Michael Sturgill always. I think that 90 is a little faster, but we haven't really seen much passing at the front so far, so it's going to be tough for him to do that. He lost this runner position on pit stops, so it's going to be tough for the 90 to get back by.
I'd like to see some of these guys have some pedal cameras to see how fast they're working that brake to gas back and forth. You can hear it, you can feel it. This car up and down, the front end suspension, always getting a workout. It takes a lot of talent to do these tracks, and I'm just not one of those guys, I promise you.
Said he was losing time to the 09, but he actually gained the last 2 laps as it gets a little bit closer. But as the 90 gets a little further away, as these 3 have really distanced themselves, as I would say the 3 favorites, is Eric Hutton. He's fought all the way from 17th to 4th, so can't count him out. Same thing for Stravado, 16th to 5th. 2 of our big movers besides Clifton Cockrell, as these 2 try to get to the front of the field, but they are a long way back from the back bumper of Sturgill.
And there is a little distance, but how about coming from 17th position? Biggest mover of the race is actually the 40 of Clifton Cockrell. He has gained 16 spots. He started all the way back in 24th, and AJ Stravado up into the wall.
That is not the line I would see him running, so he must have made a big mistake in entry, turn 1.
Yeah, I'd say he maybe braking a little too late, and Cockrell is going to lose control. We just talked about the 40, and now he's going to give a spot up to, looks like the number 1 of Caustic.
And that was all in a straight line, too. He didn't hit the wall or anything. There's so little grip on these tires after a while, you cannot go full throttle in a straight line. So I think he just got a big lesson in throttle management, even in a straight line. He's going to have to use it here as he's back to 9th now.
On board with the 24 Bailey Turner, he's cracked the top 10. He's got Jonathan Cofield now. Looks like maybe he's going to work the inside. Yes, now into 3 and 4. Going to get the drive off. That was quick. 1 corner. That's tough to do at Martinsville.
You can see that advantage of the fresh tires really playing into the 24 and 48 right now, as they've gotten a long run at the right time to be able to utilize their fresh rubber. And 24 is just leading Jeff Wright up here. He's going to go to 8th here on Clifton Cockrell with not much of a fight from the 40 either. Cockrell keeps on the right rear out of the corner, but this will be a losing battle.
Good to see the DuPont Chevrolet working its way up through the field. Moving up, Taylor Butcher Benjamin in the 6th position tonight. He's had a stellar performance. He's gained 8 spots, and we've had a lot of big movers. This field kind of flip-flopped on its head. Talking about some different names. 10 spots lost for the 81 of Ryan Carwile. Well, actually 4 spots. Reggie Ortega has lost 10 spots. Ray Massey, 10 positions. So some of these guys that started up here in this top 10 are struggling suddenly.
Well, Joshua Banks, he's down 8 positions. Alex Bell started outside front row. He's down in 18th position. He's really not made any ground up whatsoever since going back there from the initial start. Jonathan Smith's gone backwards. Brandon Wallace is a lap down 8 positions. So it's been tough for the guys who start at the front, but the guys at the rear have really made it to the front, which is really not like Martinsville, as battle for 4th is pretty much over. Stravato gets by Hutt.
Yeah, I was seeing that as they came out of turn 4. I saw it going into 1, and I just missed
it.
I
Spin, turn 2.
And look who's involved again.
Oh, Steve McDonald.
Steve McDonald, but I think he had help.
Couldn't tell, but I think we're gonna see who was involved.
I think he had some help.
I wonder who he had help from. Oh, Donald just hit the wall under yellow in turn 2 or turn 4. He hit it harder than he hit anything when the yellow came out, but we'll see what happened to bring out the
hit
yellow.
The wall again?
Under caution. We'll see what happens. We'll see it after this, but yeah, there was help there. Almost looked like McDonald was checking up for the smoke he saw, though. So I don't think that was malicious by Banks. It's just a stack up. Yeah, you could see smoke. Maybe something happened with Jeff Wright. He was up the track, but McDonald checked up for it. Oh yeah, you could see Jeff Wright got a bumper, and I think Reggie Ortega hit the brakes. And McDonald was trying to check up for that. Banks couldn't.
So let's move it on here with what happened after this. He's gonna get turned around, and
we'll see into turn number 3. By the way, the entire field pretty much pit for tires. Past the pace car.
And brakes stopped working. I think a brake line might have got broken there.
Something like that. That or the right front just didn't turn. I don't know. It was weird. It's almost like he forgot maybe where it was on track, because it got the slowing down, just not in time. So he'll go a lap down, I think.
Entire field pitting for tires. We're talking about Chad Klinger in pit road. Looks like everyone from Chad Klinger all the way back to Stephen McDonald. No, Christopher Reese. So these guys are going to get some waiver rounds. 35 is going to bring it down pit road now. Capitalize. He got the lap led, so he does have that in the books. It's been a tough day for the 35 team.
Yeah, they've been repairing this every yellow, and it's going to be no different this time. He's just going to get more repairs, stayed out the extra lap just to do this. So sooner or later, that right front fender might be better, but we'll have to see. We got another half of this race to go as the leaders take lap 100. Actually, next time they'll take lap 100.
And we're coming up on that halfway point. We're going to take you side by side. We'll be back with you momentarily. I hope you guys are enjoying tonight's broadcast here live on V-Speed, the Saturday Night Racing League. We'll be back right after this.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Back here live, Saturday Night Racing League at Martinsville Speedway. It's been a good one thus far. We can recap all the highlights, but mainly it's been the cautions that have plagued us at the short tracks, and that's been the product of just close quarters racing. We talked about how these cars don't like to touch each other, and those noses, they don't like bumpers.
No, not at all. The bumpers do not line up. They never have. They never will, unless I do get the Super Speedway bumpers. That would be cool. But we're not at Super Speedway anyway. We're at Martinsville. They don't line up, and we've seen people try to make them line up. Specifically a certain 35 car, but it has not worked out very well at any point. We've seen a lot of yellows, but even through the yellows, we've had some good green flag racing, but we've had one constant, and that's Chad Klinger leading this race.
Yeah, and Michael Sturgill, Joseph McWhorter, that top three really hasn't changed too much. They've shuffled in and out with each other. Eric Hutton doing an excellent job here tonight, running that 4th position. He's held up really well in that top 5. AJ Stravato, I mean, he's putting it together tonight, so there it is, the 33 and 5th.
Well, we've seen this before. He's got to get to 200, but we'll have to see. And like you said, the top 3 hasn't changed much except for some shuffling. Top 5 has been the same for a while as well. It's really been a constant of Klinger, Sturgill, McWhorter, Hutton, and Stravato in whichever order you'd like, but the 09's been at the front for almost all of that entirety, and really no one else has been able to crack this top 5 for the last number of runs.
They have not. We saw Jeff Wright stay out, try to hold these guys off, inevitably just fell down into the 8th, 9th position, about where he's running right now. It doesn't seem to be an answer for the 48 right at this moment. But same thing happened at Bristol, and he found himself in the top 3 to finish the race.
Yeah, played strategy, almost got a win out of it, but still, he finished way better than where he ran. Tonight could be no different. We'll just have to see. Although I think he is running better than he did at Bristol. Even P9, I think he's above where he was. Same thing for Bailey Turner right now, who ran at the front at the beginning of Bristol, if I remember correctly, and got caught up in some stuff early and could not recover from it. He got some stuff on lap 8, but didn't really incur much damage. Got some left front damage, but that's since been repaired, and he's up to 7th.
Right on board with Michael Kostick. He stayed pretty stable too. Started in 7th. He's only down 1 from where he began. And now a pass for the 4th position.
Travato gets back by Hutton.
See if Travato can go chase down this top 3. They have all but checked out. McWhorter trying to keep pace with Sturgill and Klinger. There's going to be about 1.2 seconds separating McWhorter and Travato.
Trying to get there. Didn't really gain last time by. Yeah, he lost about over a 10th, but he was making the pass on the 88, so you got to be careful. But also, Hutton's under fire. Taylor Butcher Benjamin, who's having a really strong run at the short track, up 8 positions from where he started. Talked about that, but he's looking really solid on the back bumper of the 88.
Well, I can tell you what all these cautions have done. They've confused me. I realized just now we're past the halfway point, and you know what that means?
We missed our bring the noise quote, I think.
Well, I think we're going to bring it anyway. Let's go for it. Here at Martinsville, brought to you by Harpoon Designs, we're going to bring the noise for a couple laps. So there's Bring the Noise, brought to you by Harpoon Designs. And Jack Klinger, still your leader. He has led 110 of the 120 laps around this circuit. The half-mile oval, the paperclip as we like to call it. Very unique though, and if you notice, in these corners, there's a lighter shaded area at the bottom of the turn. That's a concrete surface compared to the asphalt that's on the outside and down the straightaways.
It almost doesn't. You can almost not tell it's concrete, though, because look at how much rubber's been put down on that concrete surface. That's something I've literally never seen before on iRacing. It's just how much rubber these Gen 4 machines put down and how much you have to utilize the tires. Even it was like that even after practice. It didn't even take all this 120 laps of racing to do that. It was already like that. It's only getting more dark as more laps are ran.
Yeah, and that's just a product of the horsepower, I think, because these cars are pushing 900. That's a lot of power to try to get down to the racetrack, and we've talked about it being kind of like a drag strip. These guys are coming off of the tree at the hole shot. They're hitting the 100, the 150, the 1,000 mark. They're burning these tires off in the rear.
There's nothing they can do about it because you're going to have to stay out for a long while before you get to your pit box under green. You're running the fuel empty at a track like this if you don't get a caution. So you just kind of have to deal with it and hope they don't completely blow out, because you could blow the right rear out. We've seen that before, but the left rear is at risk because you're using the rear so much out of these corners.
Shown back up on the screen, he gets a little loose, but look at how much wheel you have to play on the exits in these corners. It's constantly a battle between throttle and steering and input, and it's just, you're working and working. Anybody that says that actual stock car drivers aren't athletes, they're completely full of it. You have to be in top shape because you are pumping your arms for 4 hours, and these guys get a little taste of that, and depending on what kind of wheel you have, direct drive, you might get that same feeling here on iRacing.
Yeah, it's very easy to kind of get tired easily, even if you don't have direct drive. Going around a track like this, having to crank the wheel in these Gen 4 cars, it's easy to get tired of it and kind of lose your marks on where to turn in and where to let go of the wheel and like let it loose, it can really be taxing on you, whether you're a real driver or not. But you gotta stay focused, and hopefully that won't happen, as we've really seen some battles fizzle out, getting more and more single file. But one battle that's going on right now is for 12th. Reggie Ortega trying to hold off Ryan Carwell. Not sure he's going to be able to do it. Carwell's got the run out of 2. Ortega's trying to stay to that right rear, but Carwell's got him. And now Alex Bell trying to get 13th away, as Bell still hasn't gotten through the field quite as much as I thought he would. He's trying to get one here.
He's just starting up there outside the pole. Kind of weird to see that he's back. He's been outside the top 10 pretty much from lap 10. It's been a hard race for the 15 team.
It really has been, but at the very least, even it's not too far up the road until you get the 6th place sixth place Taylor Butcher Benjamin. And Eric Hutton's not too far up the road, so it's not like he's very far behind. He's just not getting too far up in track position as quickly as he needs to, especially with the laps clicking down as quickly as they are. This time by 70 laps to go, as those leaders are getting into some lap traffic, so not have much time to make these moves if you do go green from here.
I just wanted to mention the 24 that's just outside the top 5. 7th position, Jeff Wright, and 8th position just behind him. And these guys are coming now. It looks like they're starting to turn up the heat, knowing why they're in the championship favors. 48 car has just been so good all season long that even if he's not comfortable to track, he makes sure that it's a decent finish.
That's just kind of how he rolls. That's what makes champions champions for sure. As a few drivers pitting in, that was Charles Felt, still probably a ways away from green flag stop. So these drivers have been out for, I would say, at least 30 laps at this point. Could be more, as Sturgill and Mark McFadden have come together into turn number 3 and are still banging doors. As now the battle for second's going to come on. Sturgill blocking down the straightaway, not what you really want to do, and he's sideways and he gets spun.
That block down the front stretch, that put the 73 of Joseph McWhorter in a situation, and now the 90 of Sturgill stuck on the outside. He's going to have to get it whipped around here.
Whoa, look out. Randall Wallace almost hit him. Here comes
Go, 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 90.
Oh, he let him go there. That's surprising. He might still get trapped behind the pace car, but he will stay. You'll get the wave anyways. But that was a little ugly. It's obviously 09 pits for tires. Everyone should.
Yeah, everybody's going to come down. Well, yeah, everybody's going to come down pit road.
That's just how big of a lead Chad Klinger had over the rest of the field.
We'll go back and look at that replay in just a second, but I tell you what, there was a moment there where I thought green flag pit stops were a possibility.
I think we were pretty, I don't know how close we were, but I feel like we were getting there. But yeah, that got wild into turn 3. It ended on the other side of the racetrack, and that was a really, really odd situation. Sturgill came over the radio. He thought that was intentional for McWhorter, but we'll have to draw our own conclusion after we get a replay of that, as Klinger's easy off pit road first. That puts Travato in second. The top 3 finally shuffling around. McWhorter does stay in 3rd with pretty much no damage. Hutton 4th, Jeff Wright in the top 5.
Go back on our instant replay. They're trying to clear the lap car. The 71 machine of Mark McFadden goes down to the inside. They make a little contact. He gets pinched down on that apron. And then you can see the block down the front stretch. And I don't know if that was really intentional by the 90 to block. He was on the throttle and just kind of snapped it down there. But man, let's see that from another angle. Let's see if we get a better look at that.
Yeah, they're going at it right now, but you can see just the water into the back. I mean, they both sent it in there pretty hard. And, you could see McWhorter gave him room even entering the corner because Sturgill sent it in, but Sturgill having to hit the brakes maybe harder into the center of the corner than the 73 had to, but no doubt the front bumper of the 73 went into the rear bumper of the 90.
Yeah, and I'm going to go one more time. I got to look at this from the back of the tin car.
It looks like Martinsville to me.
Yeah, that's just maybe a little better roll for the 73. Tempers are rising. It's going to boil over.
Oh yeah, if Sturgill gets back up there, we'll see him boil over. He's not happy. Like I said, he thinks it was intentional. I personally don't think so. I'll draw that conclusion for sure. I don't think McWhorter really wanted to spin him, but when you go so deep into the corner and you have to slam the brakes like that, eventually something's got to give when you're basically tandem drafting at Martinsville. So I was not surprised to see that happen.
Yeah, and we can go back to passing the lap car of Mark McFadden. We can chalk it up to a little bit of that as well. That situation even being created could have been the lap down car that they were trying to get around. So it's tough to really blame a guy, but you know how it is, man. You get out here in these situations, and you're going to have to just watch the replay. Here we go, back live in racing. 09 of Chad Klinger is going to lead him into turn 1. AJ Stravato on the outside. Green flag back out. And the, oh man, the 33 is holding it up there right now on the outside of Joseph McWhorter.
What a run. He's going to clear the 73 back. So power move from Stravato to keep second position from the top. And McWhorter still in third. And there's Jeff Wright getting some repairs to that front end. The fenders still look banged in, but he is up to fourth now as top 7 of single filed out. Spin. It's like Jonathan Smith again.
72 around. I grabbed a hold of that one quickly. Doesn't look like he got any damage. Another perfect self. Well, was it a self spin or did he have some help? What do you think?
He was in the middle of the pack. I'd be shocked if he spun on his own. How packed up it was.
Let's take a look back.
Oh yeah, no.
He did have some help.
His buddy Caleb Weekly, it looked like. So that helped Sturgill. He had to take the wave around. Wow, Sturgill was way deep into the corner.
Looked like Weekly hit the curb and bounced up into him. Let's go on board with him.
That's wheel hop, 100%. Wheel hop into the corner, just trying to collect it. And Jonathan Smith, innocent bystander. Probably be able to hear it.
Yeah. He locked it up. Yeah, it slid right down to the bottom of the track. That was the best angle we had in the whole thing. And unfortunately, the 72, Jonathan Smith, just wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, no doubt about that. But like I said, that is very fortunate for Sturgill after getting trapped behind the pace car. He couldn't take a set, had to take the wave around, but he will get his fresh set now and even have maybe a lap or two cleaner, fresher tires to the end. If this goes to the end, that's wishful thinking at Martinsville, but you never know. As looks like Max Cost gets the lucky dog.
And Max is back on the lead lap. I think that's the first time for the 63 team that they've been back on the lead lap since lap 62. So back on the lead lap. He started in 26th. He's in 19th. And he's going to bring it down pit road now.
Don't get lapped under yellow.
That's going to be a close one.
So, still wondering if anyone can take down Chad Klinger. Once you get the lead on these restarts, it's so hard to get to the leader once they have especially when they have long run speed. Unless they make a mistake, it's going to be so hard to pass a guy like that. And Chad Klinger's pretty much been unpassable under green today. 73's had a shot, the 90's had a shot. AJ Stravato's going to be the next one in line to try something, but I don't think anyone has anything on speed for this 09 right now. As Max Cost is just under the leaders.
I don't think he's going to make it.
I don't think so either. Got to be careful of that, as he is going to give that lap right back.
Yeah, he has to stop at the end of pit road. Very close there.
Red light's on.
That's a shame. He was the lucky dog, gets it back and loses it again.
You know who's more upset about that is Mark McFadden, because he'd be the next in line to get wave arounds. He's 2 laps down. He's just trying to get at least one of them back. And now Max Cost is going to need it again.
You got it, Max, and you gave it away.
Yeah, he's going to be the one that's more upset. I'd be more upset. I'd be upset about But you gotta know at short tracks, you don't have that much time to pit, repair damage, get tires, whatever you're doing. It looked like he literally only got tires, and that's how quick it happens.
Yes, sir. Here we go. 09, Chad Klinger, AJ Stravato, Joseph McWhorter, Jeff Wright, and Eric Hutt in your top 5. Bailey Turner, Taylor Butcher, Benjamin, Jonathan Cofield, Alex Bell, and Reggie Ortega. It's kind of a flip-flop there between him and Michael Kostick for who wants to be in 10th spot for this restart. But here we go, Geico restart zone all the way around this wall, and we're back live and racing for the 10th time tonight.
Oh,
33.
Stravato! Oh,
He got
my,
really loose.
too much throttle. The tires couldn't take it. I don't know how he didn't spin, but he still got a shot to keep second. Warder's going to try to take it. Oh, my goodness. His heart must have stopped there for a moment. I don't think he's going to be able to keep this runner-up position. He's still fighting on that top side, though.
Watch this replay really quickly.
Right there. Oh, my gosh. That's heart stopping. That stops my heart. I don't know about his. He's still fighting for this spot. Oh, Cofield's up the track. He spun, and this is another big one. Banks, Smith are in it. It might have been just those three. Now we're getting back into that groove of yellow after yellow, it looks like.
Yeah, and looks like Brandon Wallace is in it as well. Cofield. So going to replay back and see what happened. I tell you what, there's been a handful of incidents that have involved the same guys. They're eventually going to run out of time. We've got about 50 to go.
Yeah, eventually you'd probably run out of strikes to get given. This happens in front of Jonathan Smith. Cofield's the one who spun. Well, then Jonathan Smith just rammed Joshua Banks. And it was really only a single car spin. That was afterwards.
On board here with the 72. There's the accident happening with Cofield. He comes right back into traffic. Nowhere to go.
And that's why Banks hit the brakes, but Smith wasn't expecting it. And Banks gave him a little tap there saying, hey, there's a guy there. But still wondering how Cofield got spun. Can't really see it from that angle. But you can see Banks just hit the brakes just to get under him. Jonathan Smith couldn't do that in time.
All right, one more time here to figure out what happened to Cofield. Looks like he got a lot of help from Reggie Ortega locking it up.
Oh, yeah. Almost the same thing as the last yellow, just the guy on the inside barreling it in there and locking up.
Man, I tell you what, and Banks just reacted. He saw the 58 coming down like that, and it's hard not to just hit the brakes. You
kind of got to hit the brakes to get around him, or else you're probably going to get clipped in the right rear. So he did the right thing. It just didn't work out as these two repair some damage, maybe get a set of tires. And oh, yeah, by the way, Max Kost gets another lucky dog.
He will not waste this one. He got this one right.
He did not immediately pit this. He went around pit road this time, which I think is the right decision.
All right, good to see the 63 back on the lead lap, running in the 20th position. Chad Klinger, he's been biding his time. It's been one of those patiently waiting games for some of these drivers behind. Has anybody really had anything for the 09, or do you think that it's just going to take the wrong restart? We saw the 33 spin the tires. Maybe that happened to the 09 here.
It's going to be the same thing we saw with the Banks at Bristol. You're going to need to go off strategy or have him make a mistake to beat him. I mean, after the initial start, he can launch whenever he wants in that restart zone, and no one's been able to time it to stay close to him. No one's really had a challenge for him. No one's even gotten to his bumper. I don't see there being much of a challenge for this 09 unless, like I said, you need to go off strategy. You need to do something different compared to him. But even at this point, we're under 50 to go, and under 50 to go at Martinsville. That's usually around my mark when I would just shut off pitting at all, because you know how these cautions breed cautions, and we're seeing it right now. So you're almost out of strategy to vary here.
We'll tell that to Jeff Wright and Bailey Turner. These guys have worked their way up into the top 10, and Jeff Wright's sitting right there in the 4th position, looking pretty in the closing laps at Martinsville. 48 team, even with the big wreck that they got involved in, up there in the top 5.
And a few other drivers getting back to the front. Talking about Bailey Turner in that category as well. Alex Bell Looks like he's finally getting to the front. He's up to 7th. He said his pedals were messing up. Now he says they're not anymore. So now maybe he could be a threat for a top 5. It's going to take a lot to get the 09 off the top step.
Here they come off of turn 4. Pace car down, and we're back live and racing for the 10th, 11th, 12th. I don't even know.
And a lot of them. Oh, look at the run Stravato got. He easily took 2nd place there on the bottom for McWhorter. Oh, another
we got
spin.
A spin down the front straightaway. Big wreck there for Caleb Weekly.
He hit that wall so hard.
Any minimal damage though for the 13, and I thought it'd be a little bit worse.
You'll see how much he has to repair. Cosmetically, it doesn't look bad as tries to get ahead of the leaders. That 13 car, even though it looks minimal, it's pretty used up. That graphic's getting a workout. Oh, it's like, is that Stephen McDonald who kind of finished him off there? Still don't know how it started. Oh, he started it.
He got into the back of the 68.
Oh, and in saving it, the 68 got him back. I don't think that was intentional. It was just a product of trying to straighten out.
Let's go back a little bit further and see where this starts out.
Oh yeah, just sent him there. And then, yeah, McDonald was already straight, and they just came together again. Not
you know
much.
who else is caught up in that? The 2 of Ortega.
Did get some damage out of it. Right front, he repaired it earlier. He's going to have to repair it again, I think.
Ortega, who is having a great start to this race, finds himself almost outside the top 20. He's going to be in a situation for the rest of this race.
Yeah, definitely going to need to play strategy to even get back into the top 10, I would say, as that guy who was happy for the 63 to get a lucky dog is Mark McFadden getting it now, so he just needs one more to get back on the lead lap. Then that would then put all 24 cars still running on the lead lap. The only driver who's dropped out is Charles Feltz, and Mark Whitley was signed up for this race. He never did make the start, however.
Shout out to Charles Feltz. I don't know if he's watching the broadcast or not, but wave to us, Charles, if you are. Looks like he's enjoying a nice cigarette there to calm down a little bit. I know 26 laps down, 29 laps down. Not the way you wanted your race to go, but shout out to you, Charles Feltz. Thanks for joining in the video room. And that goes out to anybody that's in this broadcast tonight. We're going to start doing this as a norm, where you can push your webcam preview into the stream and we can have onboard coverage with you in real time, live in your living room, your bedroom, your basement, your man cave, wherever the case may be. Chad Klinger, AJ Stravato, Joseph McWhorter. I've been saying those names a lot here tonight. I would have to say, when it all comes down to it, there's a sleeper in 4th place.
Just have to wait and see. He's going to need to find some sort of window of opportunity to get up there as he rides the curb. Maybe some extra grip down there he'll have to try to find. But Eric Hutton, he's made his way up slowly but steadily. Same thing as Stravato, up 17th to 4th. 13 positions for him. It's just been really, he's probably been one of the more calm drivers in the field tonight. No dents in that car yet, and now's the time to get dents if you're going to get dents, but he's kept it clean, and that's the main reason why he's up into the top 5.
All right, resetting the field. This track, it's greasy. 109 track temperature. I wouldn't want to drive on it, but we're going to watch these guys drive on it. Out of turn 4, Chad Klinger going to hit the loud pedal for another time here tonight, and a little bit of contact just behind, maybe a little checkup deep in the field.
Oh, they're wrecking again. There's a spin. It was a half spin, and that was Brandon Wallace and Christopher Reese.
That iRacing pace car, I think it might be combating Chad Klinger for most laps led at this point.
I think it's also running out of gas at this point. Because it doesn't get a chance to refill, I don't think, like the 09 has.
All right, we're going to go back and look at what happened to Brandon Wallace.
Well, faking like they're going to pit top 4 stayed out, but yeah, we'll get a view here.
All right, you had me interested to see who maybe was going to take it down pit road, but let's get back.
Yeah, it looks like no one. It had people faking though. But like I said, we're getting to the point where you're probably done pitting. But we'll see what happened to cause yet another yellow. Oh, Cofield into the back of that machine, into the back of Christopher Reese. You'll see it just, going into the corner. Just didn't hit the brakes in time, and Reese had not much he could do.
One more time, we're going to look at the back bumper on this restart. Cofield's got a really smashed in nose prior to this moment.
Well, it's a little more smashed in, I would say.
Yeah, he definitely tried to straighten it out.
McDonald into the back of Wallace, just to compound it.
That's Domino's, man. That's how it works here at Martinsville.
Although we're not sponsored by Domino's, that is how Martinsville works at times.
Do we need a Domino's graphic to throw up on screen right now?
I think we need a Domino's halfway break if I had had my own choosing.
I could go for some Domino's right now. You're making me hungry, guy. It's 11:30.
I mean,
I think it's a little late.
I don't know. 11:30, like 11 p.m. and later is like prime Domino's. It's like, it goes into the same category as Taco Bell and what we have on the East Coast, White Castle. They all go into the same category as food you get after dark.
Oh man, White Castle is just food you don't get at all, man. I don't think nope. Anybody out there in the
that
broadcast
category.
I just want to say that White Castle is, and we will never be sponsored by White Castle. I'm going to just go ahead and put the nail in the coffin now for V-Speed that we will never be sponsored by White Castle, because that is the absolute most garbage food I have ever eaten in my life.
It's as basic as it gets with what I guess it's categorized fast food.
It's meat-like substance. It's not even burgers, man. It's terrible.
Not even burgers. It barely counts as sliders.
Terrible food. You can order that on Amazon, and not that I'm recommending that, because again, never going to be sponsored. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
But we will be sponsored by Domino's.
Yeah, we're going to absolutely take them up on that. Checks in the mail for Chad Klinger. Let's see if he can cash it. He's got AJ Servato on the outside for the 13th time here tonight. We're going to go green, I promise. Here we go, chat. Live and racing, back in Martinsville. Did they get a run off of 4? I thought that Stravato was going to get to peek to the inside. He is all over the back bumper of that 09.
He's trying to get there. He just doesn't have enough to really have a look at him right now. His car's up the track. That was Caustic who lost positions, but all these drivers trying to get their track position now before we go yellow at some point. Also trying not to be the yellow as Stravato loses some time to Klinger that time. It's almost 3 wide for 6th position. Alex Bell up the track. Ray Massey's having a comeback here, as is Ryan Carwell and Michael Sturgill climbing back into the top 10.
Yeah, Massey on a good rebound up in the 8th spot. He started in 4th. He has to get around Bell, who's also rebound. He's the outside of Bailey Turner for the 5th spot, or 6th spot rather. Open up the door.
He's trying to make the top line work. There's just not enough up there right now to do anything, but he does get down in front of Ray Massey to, kind of shut that 7th position down. Now Massey's trying to shut that down from Sturgill, who's sideways off of 4, carrying it into turn 1, maybe a little too deep, but forces Carwell to his outside.
Coming down to crunch time, less than 30 to go. Who's gonna get it? I think Klinger, if he can just keep his nose clean, He's got this thing wrapped up. He's been dominating this race thus far. 164 laps led.
He can keep his nose clean, but if Shivano wants to win the race, I don't think he can keep a clean nose. It seems like he is not going to be able to get any sort of chance to have a look to the inside legitimately on Chad Klinger unless a big mistake happens. He might have to get that front bumper dirty at this point to get a shot at that 0-9. But if he does that, it checks him up. That opens the door for McWhorter, Jeff Wright, everyone.
Gonna have to make quick work of it. Do it cleanly. Plan it. Turns 3 and 4. Maybe? He's starting to lose a little ground, so he's running out of that opportunity.
Oh, he's trying. He's firing it in on entry, but he's losing so much on exit by doing that he's not able to keep up. McWhorter's kind of doing the same thing. Stravado just not carrying that exit speed that he needs right now, as neither is anyone behind him. Wright's losing pace, Hutton's losing ground, and Bailey Turner's still trying to fend off Alex Bell.
Oh, and they opened up the door there for a brief second.
Big hit, turn 4, I think. Brandon Wallace again. Now it gets interesting with tires, but I still don't see anyone pitting.
Wallace is he's thrown his hands up here tonight. He's had one of those days that just he wants it to be over. I want it to be over for some of these guys because it's just been such a struggle. We talk about all the different drivers out here on the track that were fan favorites. One of these guys right here, Joshua Banks, started up in 9th. He was the short track favorite at Bristol. He had an excellent race there. A little bit of faking on pit road, but we do see Taylor Butcher Benjamin bringing it down all by his lonesome.
He pits from 11th. Everyone 12th to 18th stays out, and then everyone behind Jonathan Smith does come in, so he'll have to come from about 17th or 18th here. So we'll see how much tires matter at this point. But like I said, I think the pit box is pretty much packed up and you're just ready to load up the hauler and get out of Martinsville. If you're any of the front runners, you're done taking tires. You're taking those over to our next race next week at Kansas. You're just going to take them there.
Yeah, I'm not completely in disbelief that guys that are outside of the top 10 are coming down pit road. What I don't, this is the difference between Bristol. You don't have that opportunity to get that run. Everybody's running the bottom. Unless you move them out of the way, like we've seen some of these guys choose to do tonight, which is just going to breed more cautions, it puts you in a situation where you could also be set back to 20th position. I think it's a catch-22. You take tires, you're faster than the guy, you're going to have to move him out of the way because you're not going to get that inside line. At the same time, you're probably going to have to move him out of the way anyway because everybody's down there. And we just talked about that with Chad Klinger and AJ Stravado. They're going to, it's inevitably going to come down to this top 5. If anybody wants a position, they're going to have to move a guy.
Yeah, and we saw that top line. It almost looked like it worked better at the beginning of the race, but as the track rubbered in, everyone was kind of pinned to that bottom. That second groove kind of went away, and we haven't seen it really work other than maybe on restart defenses in a while. But we saw Bell trying to get to the outside of Bailey Turner. It just was not working, even with everyone running the bottom like a conveyor belt and everyone stacking up on the bottom because of that. It's still not working. So yeah, you're going to have to move people out of the way, but also you can't really move people out of the way with how the front end acts like a shovel, so it's going to be a tough scenario for...
Oh, you can move them. It's just...
It's not going to be pretty.
You evict them. You don't move them.
And you get sent to the back and get an EOL for probably causing what would be a yellow, so it's... The risk... See what the reward is. He pits from 11, so he has to get back to there.
When it comes down to the white flag, yeah, maybe it's worth it. We'll see. But doubled back up. Chad Klinger, AJ Stravado, Joseph McWhorter, Jeff Wright, and Eric Hutton, your top 5. By the way, if you're liking what you see, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a single race here live on V-Speed Saturday Night Racing League. Getting ready to go back green. Looks like AJ Stravado might have something for the 09 back racing, and Cofield's going to spin the tires in the back.
Right, Stravado's spun him too, but he actually really timed that well. He is on Klinger's bumper, but just nowhere to go with it.
And he's getting close.
Oh, he did hit him!
He
bumped
moved
him! There
him.
it is!
The
What a
bump and
move.
run, nicely executed, and a change for the lead with about 13 to go.
I didn't think he could do it. That was
He moved him up.
perfect.
Excellent job.
And that's going to open up for McWhorter. Now Chad Klinger's in big trouble. He has to get to the bottom, which he does, but that was incredible. I did not think that was possible, but now Shavato's got to deal with clean air now. McWhorter's got to deal with a new challenger. I think that 73's faster.
On board here with the 73 all over the back bumper. The 33 is going to get a taste of his own medicine.
I think he's going to have to expect it from whoever's behind him. McWhorter's looking, big crash. Ray Massey's around. Bailey Turner's around. And that is a
big wreck.
junkyard. That is a junkyard of cars.
Big wreck.
You know what this means? It means AJ Shavato is going to be restarting first, and Klinger might be behind him.
That was a big crash. It included 9 different drivers from Ray Massey, the 35 who just can't catch a break. He gets involved. Oh, the 75 of Sweeting gets thrown up in the air. The 10 up in the air.
Well, that's the risk of taking tires. Put yourself in the back of that. Chuck Sweeting's going to be out of this race as a
Bailey
result.
Turner involved as well. What happened to him?
Well, Ray Massey hit the back of Sturgill, which put Sturgill on the back of Bailey Turner. The big one happened behind all of them.
Right, so there's 10, 11 cars involved in this.
Yeah, this was bigger than lap 8. But you can see Massey into the back of Sturgill there. And Sturgill kind of got into him regardless. But, yeah, that was not the big one. But, I'm still reeling from that bump and run. I did not think that could be executed.
We got that. Let's go back and take an exact rewind on that one.
I mean, that was incredible. You got to barely tap him if you're going to do it, and he did just that. And he just timed it to perfection. You could see it almost looked like Chad Klinger had thoughts of just right rearing him. You could see the lightest tap is all it needs, and Shavato played it to perfection. I've never seen it done that perfectly in these Gen 4s / ARCA cars. That was incredible. And unfortunately for Chad Klinger, I don't think he's going to.
Oh, no, if you're on the other side of that, you never agree with it. And we've seen, in real life, we've seen drivers talk about that bump and run. But when you're on the guy that's running second, third position, that you make that move and you win the race, they don't ask you how, they ask you how many. And that could be a championship-changing move for the 33 team. They've got to capitalize on this situation because Jeff Wright, outside of the top 3 pretty much all night long, he is still back there in the hunt. He's lurking in 4th position. This is one of those moments where you have to capitalize, and the points are so important. 20 race season, you gotta win this race. If you can do it, get up there, and the 33 knows that.
Yeah, he's really got to capitalize on his restart now because he does, you know, you got to make sure they do not get back to you when you move them. And I'm sure Chad Klinger, all he's thinking right now is about getting to that Old Spice rear bumper. And Shavato timed that restart to perfection. That's why he got to the back bumper of Klinger. And that's the other thing Chad Klinger's going to have to be thinking about. He has to time this perfectly to not let McWhorter get in front of him and have a shot at that 33.
Well, everybody to say hello to Barney. He's up there in the booth waving that flag, and his arm has got to be getting tired here tonight. He's been waving that yellow flag a lot.
He's been switching hands each and every yellow since about the 7th one, I think. But this is going to be very interesting. I am really, really excited and intrigued to see if Klinger can do anything. We're starting with 10 to go here.
Pace car pulls off the 33, the 73 in your front row, the 09, the 48, the 88. And how about Alex Bell back up there hunting for the top 5? Green flag up in the air, Geico restart zone. Let's see what happens into turn 1.
Shavato spun him again. Klinger's getting close, but he's not clear McWhorter to really charge yet. McWhorter's on his right rear. He's going to clear him back to 2nd. Shavato slipped up. Gotta look out. Can't be doing that.
Little mistakes, that's what it takes, and that's going to get the 09 right up on
There
the
it
bumper.
is.
The move.
Pay him back.
No,
Oh, McWhorter.
73 around.
And somehow it's only Joseph McWhorter that pays the price for that. We knew that was coming. Oh my goodness.
And that was exactly what you thought it would be.
That was probably the most predictable thing ever. And unfortunately for Joseph McWhorter, he paid the price for it after checking up for it. As it looked like Jeff Wright was the one who got in the back of him. We'll get a view of both this time in the same camera shot. I mean, Stravato knows it's coming, and there's nothing he can do about it, but he slips up, which is it hurt him there.
He knew it was coming, and he was ready to counter that wheel, but the 73, man, he got the worst end of it.
Yeah, he checks up to, he thinks, I guess Stravato's going to spin, or the 09 checks up, but he'll check up here to not get in the clinger, and Wright couldn't do it in time. And he hit the back of his car pretty good, but that was about it.
Interesting to note that this league has EOL penalties, and one of those situations where do we classify that as a racing deal? I don't know for sure what the call is going to be on the track, but it's just a bad situation for everybody.
It's also tough because Jeff Wright is one of the admins. So
yeah. I mean, you're not going to self-incriminate, obviously.
That's when you leave it up to Reggie Ortega when he's in 15th, anyways.
Yeah. Let's not put it out there that we're going to make these predictions on these calls, but I would say that is a racing deal because you've got the 09 and the 33 who already are in another time zone right now. They're not seeing anyone around them. They're the only two on this track right now in their mind.
I would expect to see another racing deal happen.
Oh, it's coming, and hopefully it comes on the white flag. I can't wait to see the finish of this race. 195 laps into it, and it's just begun.
Just can't believe how it's incredible how delicate you have to tap someone to do it cleanly, because that's as clean as it's gonna get. It looked like he damn near wrecked the 33, but he barely tapped him. That's what you have to do is you look at the ticker on the top of our screen. It's been that type of night. 15 cautions, but only 6 lead changes, and 2 of those have been in the last 10, 15 laps. Probably not done.
As well, Connor. I jinxed that one as well. We're going for the record. We're gonna set it at 15. We still have time for one more.
Just have to wait and see, I suppose. But as far as this series is concerned, I assume, yeah, it would be the record, as Bristol was 10. Then we have definitely surpassed that after having 0. Every other race besides Bristol and Martinsville have been 3 or less. But that's short track racing. It is almost inevitable sometimes. What else I think is going to be inevitable is the 09 to 33 hitting once again. But also, through all that, through all the checking up that happened at turn 2, look who got the 3rd place. Alex Bell.
Yeah, he's down there on the bottom. Eric Hutton in the top 4, and we did have a penalty for the 48. Jeff Wright did take an EOL for that accident. So kudos to the admin team.
Big points to lose at the end of this race. Likely not going to get much of that back.
Well, here we go. Setting up for what's sure to be a great finish. The 09 of Chad Klinger, who's led the vast majority of laps, takes his lead back. AJ Stravato into 1. Let's see what happens.
The outside, he's on the right rear this time. Oh, Klinger's going to get spun!
And that's going to be an EOL for sure for the 33. And everybody dodges him somehow.
Chad Klinger came over the radio immediately and said, "I got your number." Oh, and did they wreck out of turn 4? They did. Taylor Butcher Benjamin went around.
We're going to have to go back and we're going to look at so many angles.
Klinger is not happy.
No, I wouldn't be either. I mean, it's just that one there was too much. And that's not as graceful as the last one.
So that should put Eric Hutton in the lead on a green-white checkered. We got 3 attempts at it, by the way. We might need all 3, but now the 88's going to be in the lead. Also, another one who's come back to the front. Michael Sturgill might end up 3rd.
All right, we're going to go back and look at this. Now, this is the wreck that happens after, but right there, that move, I don't want to say that it was dirty. These guys had already been going at it. I just think the place where he did it was not the right place.
But the issue is I don't know how dirty it is, because you saw Klinger slide up in front of him, and you know how the bumpers of these things are going to react. You really get the view of Stravado's front bumper. I mean, he slid up in front of him, and Stravado, with the way the tires wear, he's probably not even full throttle. It's so hard to stay off of someone. You see the 09 tries to shut the door. You see Stravado hit the brakes. He tried to stay off him. Just, that's not gonna.
Yeah, and we'll go on the rear.
It's gonna
here.
happen.
We were riding on the rear when that happened.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These guys barely able to dodge, and I think that's what caused this on later on.
Is that Brandon Wallace again?
Yeah, Brandon Wallace involved. He's up in the top 10, though. He's running 9th. Again, we are giving the broadcaster's perspective of everything. We do not have a personal vendetta against any of these drivers. We love the action that we're seeing. It's Martinsville short track race, and we've always preferred to watch short track broadcasts. And I think I speak for everybody when we say that the action here tonight has been intense.
It's especially kicked off the last 20 laps. I mean, the bump and runs have been incredible. Unfortunately, it didn't end well there, and it also didn't end well for McWhorter, but can't deny it's been pretty darn incredible to watch right now. It's like maybe that last caution, maybe it will go to post-race review, and we might have unofficial results after the checkered flag flies, as it's like Stravado will restart from the lead.
So I'm going to assume you're hearing some radio chatter about some admin talks and some EOL penalties and claiming cautions. But hey, the hell with that. We're going to go green for another time with 3 to go. Green, white checker. AJ Stravado on the inside. Eric Hutton, Alex Bell, Michael Sturgill, Ryan Carwile, Joshua Banks, Clifton Cockrell. All these names that have been battling all night long, and it comes down to these last 3 laps. Here we go. Green flag in the air, and the 33 doesn't spin the tires. Alex Bell gets a great run into 1.
He's going to have to win the shot at the bumper at Stravado. Hutton's hanging on the right rear of Bell, though. Bell did not get a run out of turn 2. 33's got a gap now.
And maybe a little bit
of they're crashing.
Contact.
Caleb, is the yellow going to come out? Yes, it did.
It comes out just in time. And McWhorter.
And they're still
Ortega. Ray Massey involved.
Bailey Turner was in that.
Trying to get it back wrapped around. I was trying to bring the driver camera up in time for the 73 team.
Almost looked like that was such a late yellow, but iRacing does that from time to time. That took out probably another half dozen cars. And that wreck started in turn 3 and ended on at the start finish.
Yeah,
whoa!
Look at this right here. Look, the white flag is up in the air, and the 33 of Stravado goes into turn 1.
Yeah.
iRacing threw the caution as they were crossing the line.
That iRacing, that has always been an iRacing thing, and it has not changed. Because Stravado was probably upset about that, because I don't think Bell was going to have a shot at the bumper. It's a different game now.
Another green-white checker. In the situation that we're in right now, you've got guys that were up in the top 3 all race long trying to storm back. But how about this? This driver. He hasn't been in the top 10 all night, and here he is in the top 5.
Just one of those things. Things happen
mysteriously, huh?
Mysteriously. He's been able to make it work, that's for sure. It's been able to work out for him. That's incredible that he's been up in the top 5. I don't believe his tires are any fresher than anyone else's either. He's just been able to not really avoid the chaos. He's just kind of been able to ping pong off of it and not get the worst of it. But he's definitely going to be in a situation where he could fight for a top 3 and could fight to talk with either of us, which is really what he's going for.
Another guy that's recovered, Michael Sturgill, who got turned early in this race. He's back up into the top 5, and as we get doubled up here, lights are going to go out on the pace car next time by. I would say Sturgill's in another position because he was in the top 3 for the first half of this race. Fell all the way back after that caution. He got turned, and he's kind of had to fight his way back up here as well.
There's been a number of drivers you can point to that have had to fight back from something. There's 3 drivers in the top 5 that have had to fight back for something. Alex Bell had pedal issues. He's up to 2nd. Banks had damage from lap 8 on. He's recovered to 4th. Sturgill got spun out of 2nd. He's up to 5th. Ryan Carwell's recovered from being in a Subaru. He's up to 6th. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It is a cool car, though. He's up to 6th. Clifton Cockrell, he hasn't recovered from anything. It's just cool that he's running 7th. He's survived all this for now, as the car shows that. But he has got one of the cleaner cars in the field for the time being. Also, Reggie Ortega is in 9th. Everyone 8th on back has big damage.
Yeah. And the level of professionalism that we bring here at V-Speed, I hope you guys are enjoying tonight's broadcast. Here we go. Maybe one last time. Does Alex Bell give the bump and run, or does AJ Stravato hold on to the lead? Does Eric Hutton, Joshua Banks have anything for him? The hometown, the short track favorite, finds his way into the top 5. Are we back live? No, we throw it there. That was my bad.
We are. It's like Hutton got the 2nd there. Bell didn't get a good restart at all. Bell got spun. Caution's out again.
And that's going to be the final green-white checker.
No, we got one more attempt at things.
One more? Okay, so we had a naturally occurring one, and I was behind. I thought I had hit the live button, so I was a little bit behind on this restart. Let's go back and see the whole thing.
Alex Bell, after all that, it's all for nothing.
Yeah, that's
This kicked off into turn 1. We'll watch in the background with the 73 as Bell doesn't get a good restart. Let's Hutton to the bottom, but the initial stuff
Banks
starts.
Didn't get a good start either.
Oh, Reggie Ortega pile drove Joseph McWhorter in the background, but they saved it. And now the battle's for 2nd. Bell got under a Hutton. You can see Sturgill gets a better run off of 4.
Yeah, he hits the back of Bell.
Just turns him. Once again, Stravato probably saw the white flag, but instead gets shown the yellow. As
I mean, he's looking to drive into the sunset right now and do burnouts. He has been within 100 feet of that twice now.
I mean, at this rate, we are going to need to turn the lights on sooner or later. But
we're gonna watch it one more time, and I want to see the 35 gets right up on the bumper here, and I don't know if it's because Bell didn't get a good start or if the 35 also spun his tires.
Oh, he missed a shift.
Yeah, something happened there, and I saw him drop hard.
Props to Carwell for not hitting him. That could have been a spot where he easily turned him, but he did a great job getting on the brakes and saving his car. Fortunately for Alex Bell, got chopped by Hutton, and the 90 got a run out of the corner, and a little late to lift, I suppose. Gets into the back of him, and 360 for the 15, as he at least is going to restart not at the very back. He's going to be, well, he is, did he pit maybe?
21st position here being shown for the 15.
He did pit. It's kind of surprising.
If you have not checked it out, we do have 4 different channels here on V-Speed, and the one that I want to direct you to is V-Speed 2. If you have not subscribed to that channel, please do so. Live action racing Friday night. We are double booked here on V-Speed. It's been a great ride. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I hope you guys have enjoyed every season and every league that we've broadcasted. If you're not subscribed to V-Speed 1, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and leave your notifications on so we can ping you and annoy you and make your phone go dead, okay? Because we got AJ Stravato and Eric Hutton side by side for the final restart of this race at Martinsville, and it's going to get good.
It is really going to get good here, as praying, hoping we get 2 green flag laps in. We'll have to see.
I think that 35's got something. He's got something. He's going to move somebody. Look at this restart. They're right up on the bumper. Green flag in the air for maybe the final time tonight.
Oh, it will be the final time. No doubt about that. They're already banging doors at the back. Joshua Banks has gotten to second in all this. Will he have a shot?
Oh, the
Hutton
88 gets
dumped.
shoved.
Banks
He gets
dumped.
thrown.
Oh, and he's up
And
and
yellow,
over.
the 35 flips over in Martinsville.
And Banks ends up on his lid in all that. Wow.
That is a shame, and he's not going to get the finish here, and that's the final lap. AJ Stravado going to be scored your official winner of tonight.
Wow, that is not going to go over well. Jonathan Smith is going to get third place out of all this, if that's official. That
Is
just shuffled.
official.
That shuffled. Well, it depends on who. We need to see that because that was incredible. But AJ Stravado survives all the chaos and wins at Martinsville. That one, we'll see if that one's official, but he crosses the line first. Let's get a replay of what ended this race. Hutton gets pile driven here. Carwile pile drove into Hutton.
Oh, and he flips, and that just puts him on his lid. He can't go anywhere. The 88 of Hutton is able to at least hold on to a 13th place finish, but he was up there in second spot. He was right there on the edge.
I was really thinking Banks was going to have a shot at the bumper of Stravado, but he had nothing he could do there. He got absolutely blindsided. Because there's going to be a lot to kind of unpack there, because I think a lot of drivers got potential penalties, but
Yeah.
we'll have to see.
Into turn one, it looked clean. I mean, everybody got a good start. And off the corner. And then it all goes downhill from there.
Yeah, Banks, I feel so bad for him because he literally had no control over that at all. Absolutely
Yeah.
blindsided by
I
the
feel
88.
bad for Eric Hutton as well. He
Yeah.
got back to 13th, and we saw Hutton restart on the outside in second.
Yeah, unofficially, trying to see the 81s. Unofficially, the 81 scored second, but that will not. We'll see. But there was a lot of happening from people. You know, we had a lot of drivers having to pass before the start-finish line, and when you have a wreck that late and ends under yellow, it really messes up timing and scoring. So a lot's going to have to be sorted out. But AJ Stravado is going to be the one burning it down. It's about time. I would say he had something.
He's been
going his way.
winless for a minute, so congratulations to AJ Stravado. He worked hard. Those bump and runs, they take some talent. So let's get pre or post race interviews with your top three. Right after this, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with you Saturday Night Racing League live from Martinsville on V-Speed.
the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
It's been a good one. I enjoyed every second of this race. The final restart, the bump and runs, every moment along the way. We're still trying to get word exactly on how they're officially going to score this. And this race has been kind of off the wall. We can bring your final results up on the screen with AJ Stravato, Ryan Carwile, and Clifton Cockrell for your top 3, but we don't know exactly how this is all going to cycle out. iRacing timing and scoring had black flagged some drivers and put them in situations where they had to let people by before they crossed the line. We don't know exactly how that's going to all work out, but what we can tell you 150% for sure is that AJ Stravato won this race.
It sounded like Larry McGrounds for a second. Brad Keselowski won. No. But yeah, I mean, he was in a top 5 all race long. What really flipped the switch for him to get in a position to win this race was what happened between Sturgill and McWhorter when they got together. That put Stravato up really an extra row because he had been fighting between 4th and 5th. That really was what put him to 2nd and what gave him the shot at the bumper of the 09. And then after that, it got wild. Push came to shove. The 33 bumped the 09. 09 got him back. And then off of the corner on the restart, they got back together. And then really it was after that 3rd incident between the 33 and 09 where all hell broke loose. But like you said, we're not sure of a lot of positions right now, but we are sure that that 33 it will be in victory lane.
Yeah, we're going to go back to the rewind margin of when this happens. The lights are out on the pace car for this final restart. And as we all get it all sorted out, there's a number of different moments in this race, and we'll show them, of the bump and runs. When Joseph McWhorter gets turned around, when Chad Klinger gets moved out of the way, when AJ Stravato gets moved out of the way. There's just so many different instances. But this is the final restart. And we're riding with the 88 of Eric Hutton, who's going to get punted into turn 3. And that's going to throw the 35 up in the air. Unfortunate set of circumstances.
Yeah, just nothing either 2nd or 3rd place could do there. Carwell was trying to get under the 88 of Hutton, didn't make it underneath him completely, and just wasn't able to do anything about it. This was the first instance between Chad Klinger and AJ Stravato. Stravato looked for the bumper, and he got it.
Moves the 09 out of the way to take the lead, and that right there could be the definitive moment that won the 33 this race. We'll go back to another rewind margin. There's the move out of the way from the 09, and that throws the 73 McWhorter out of the way because he has to check up.
That was the payback right there. You bumped me, you better not let me get back to you. And Stravato messed up back-to-back corners, which let him get vulnerable and let Klinger get back to him to retake the lead.
Now we'll go a little bit further. Actually, we're going to rewind further than that because we had the 33 and the 09. This is where the 09 says, "I've got your number."
And this is where the altercation finished for today. I don't believe it's finished for the season because Klinger, like we heard, was not happy about what transpired out of turn number 2. It's something we'll have to look for. But one thing's for sure, he dominated this race and he doesn't get near the finish he deserves. Wow.
Yeah.
That was the first view. That was the first real good view we got in that 71 avoiding him. Mark McFadden.
That was a close one. But yeah, again, unofficially, officially, we're trying to put this all together for you guys. This never happens here on V-Speed. We usually know what's going on. So that's one of those situations. But what we can do 100% is pull your race winner, the 33 of AJ Servato, up here in the broadcast booth.
We'll see. We can get Stravato in here, but we also did get word from admins that officially third place does go to Jonathan Smith.
Okay, so we do have Jonathan Smith. We'll have to pull up here in the broadcast booth. All right, so let's get our race winner up here. Race winner, AJ Stravato, the definitive bump and run. You made it look good, and then it kind of got out of hand. There was 2 different instances where we saw this happen here tonight. There was 3 actually that we could go back on. That's Martinsville.
I don't know what happened the first one early in the race, but I thought I had a really good bump and run on the 9 right there. I think earlier on he got me back, and on the restart I definitely didn't want to hit him. I didn't want to hit him. He came up, it was really, really tight, and I was never full throttle the entire time, and he was kind of sliding a little bit, but I mean, we're racing hard at the end right there. I just got moved, so I'm not entirely happy that I got moved, but not how I want to do it. But at the same time, I mean, what else am I supposed to do right there when I'm not even full throttle and somebody's kind of sliding a little bit? It's not the way I want to do it. Chad is a clean racer, and I don't know, but happy to win at least, but I don't know. It's just weird situation to be in.
Well, you've went winless for so long. I've watched you at BTDY. I watch you here in Saturday Night Racing League. I've watched you in Dialed In Racing League. There's so many different leagues that I've seen you perform in, and you're a top 3 guy every week. But how I know that the bump and runs and the short track aspect of everything comes into play, but how good does it feel to be back in victory lane?
Hey, I mean, regardless, it's a win. I felt like I had a really good pace right there towards the end, and Martinsville is not one of my better tracks. I feel like running some road course GT3 stuff and just having to be so meticulous with the brakes have really kind of helped me a little bit with Martinsville and just how you got to approach the track. But I don't know. I mean, I'm happy. I'm definitely happy I won, but I running into somebody even the way it was, regardless if I feel like if I was 100% at fault or not. It's not the way I want to do it. You know, Martinsville isn't one of my favorite tracks just kind of because the way you kind of have to race right there. And, you know, I'm happy I won, like I said, but it just feels weird to kind of run into somebody like Chad. He's a good guy, you know, so I don't know.
Well, remaining humble, man, we appreciate that. But what we also appreciate is the amount of ratings, because that was fun to watch. Regardless, I know the outcomes weren't exactly the way that everybody would have wanted that to happen, but it was great racing. Caution plagued race here tonight. Do you think that kind of helped? Because I know that you were starting kind of back in the field and then worked your way up. You were back there in 16th to start this race. Do you think the cautions kind of played in your favor to get in that situation?
It's kind of hard to say. You just kind of got to take the positions when you can, and you know, if you can get a long run, which I felt like we were pretty decent on the long runs once you got going a little bit, and I could get the brakes out and figured out. I think I was pretty quick on the long runs as well, just slowly picking away and getting track position. Luckily, we had 200 laps to kind of make up for, excuse my French, a really shitty qualifying effort. So luckily, we were able to make our way through the field one way or another. And, you know, like I said, bring home a win. Definitely, like I said, it's still good to win. I'm definitely stoked to win, especially at Martinsville. I don't think I've ever won here before, so I'm happy about that. But like I said, just not the way I kind of want to do it. But kind of sometimes I think with short track racing, sometimes it's how you got to do it. So,
AJ, I got to ask, you know, it's for my own personal vendetta, that have you went back and watched some of these broadcasts at prior weeks?
yeah, I've watched some of them in the prior past, of course.
I just want to say that we don't have a personal bias towards you, or we're not upset with you or anything, man. We just
I have a bias towards Old Spice. I do use it, but
it's just one of those things, man. You have such great races going on, and it seemed like, especially at the start of the season, you made it a lot harder than it needed to be, and it wasn't on purpose, I'm sure. But great recoveries, excellent job here tonight. I just wanted to get that out of the way, clear the air that we don't hate you, 33. Your name comes up a lot, and we were just always critiquing guys. That's just that's our job, I guess.
Listen, man, I'll look back at it regardless of what you say. I mean, it's kind of well deserved. If I run into a couple people, regardless of how I view it, it doesn't look good. So I mean, I completely understand it if you're criticizing me for honestly some shitty driving. I could be better, a lot better than that, and I know I can be better than that. So it is what it is at the end of the day. But still happy to win. So end of the day, we'll work on it.
No, congrats, AJ. No, this, yeah, that if there's anything you take from this, congratulations. You've rebounded and putting together a solid season here for the 33 team. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out and thank for tonight's race?
Yeah, just I guess all the guys in the Discord channel for keeping it light, making me laugh. Maybe that's probably why I drove a little bit too reckless. But guess all the Nexus Esports guys that are doing really good in Road to Pro. Happy they're doing well, and you guys for doing a really good job in the broadcast, and probably rightfully so, giving me some good critiques. So I'm looking forward to watching back some of the race and seeing where I can improve on.
We appreciate your time, AJ, and hopefully you'll be back in here at the Saturday Night Racing League Victory Lane. We look forward to it next week. Appreciate your time,
Yes,
buddy.
sir. Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
So there's your race winner, the 33, AJ Stravado, and Martinsville has been a tough one. We're still kind of sorting things out, but officially, your winner, we can declare the 33 on that great restart to take it home.
And we do have a few, but we at least know the top three, so that does help us. We know the top three for sure. We were told Jonathan Smith was P3, and now we are also told that Michael Sturgill is going to be officially a second out of all this. So even through all that chaos, Sturgill was able to get back up to a runner-up position. And obviously Jonathan Smith, where did he come from to even get top three?
Yeah, we need to find that name because I'm looking here on all of my timing and scoring. And Jonathan Smith is all the way back in 20th position at the official mark. The 72 is in 20th for iRacing's timing and scoring. So there it is right there. That's going to be your second place finisher. We're going to do this properly and put him up on display. And let's pull your second place finisher if we can. See if we can find him down on pit road.
Yep, I got him down on pit road. He's right here. Jonathan Smith ends up runner-up somehow in all this chaos after whatever we had, about 200-something laps, 3 full green-white checkered attempts. You survived the chaos, and albeit even survived iRacing's timing and scoring, you end up runner-up. How in the world did you get here, man?
I really don't know, to be honest with you. About 20 to go, I was running like 20th anyway, so I came in, took tires, came back out in 20th, and just decided I'd get as much as I could out of it. I didn't expect to get anywhere near third. I figured maybe a top 10.
Oh, yeah. Pitting late at Martinsville, I would definitely be expecting to at least get back to the top 10, but the cards kind of went your way. We got some long green flag run-ins, and it got aggressive by the end. You could see it. Part of the aggression, that 72 was beat up just like pretty much everyone else's car was by the end of this race. Was there any point where you realized, hey, I could get a lot more out of this?
Mostly I was just trying to keep the car clean. I mean, obviously I didn't do a great job of it, judging by the body, but I was trying to. I felt like I was pretty good in the center all night, but I just couldn't figure out how to carry as much speed off as a lot of these guys were. So, like I said, most of it was just, that call to get tires with 20 to go, because, I didn't really have anything else I could try, so I might as well go for it.
Yeah, obviously you went for it and ended up almost hitting a home run right there at the end of this race. And we saw, like we were talking about, we had long runs, and then it seemed once business started picking up at the front, the sort of give and take we saw during the race kind of went away, and started seeing a lot more bumpers be used and a lot more drivers going around for 360s. Did you see any point in the race where the aggressiveness went up a notch, almost to a point where it was too much?
Probably right about that 20 to go point. That's really, I kept hoping for green flag runs because, I was the first car on fresh tires. I figured I could pick off a lot more into green.
Yeah, I think if it did go green, you definitely could have picked some off, but I'm not sure if it would have resulted in a runner-up. An incredible result for you, so congratulations on that. Do you have anyone to thank for this performance?
Yeah, I've got to thank everybody over at Driven Motorsports. My teammate Joseph McWhorter is in here racing with us. Then Brantley at Harpoon Design for the awesome paint scheme on both my car and Joe's. And typically he'll come in and spot. He didn't make it for that tonight. And then my buddy Daryl being on the deck lid Yeah, I think that's about it. And thank you guys for putting on a awesome broadcast for us, and Jeff for giving us an awesome place to race.
Well, we do the broadcast, but we won't be able to do it without the incredible racing we saw, incredible finish we saw at the end of this one. So once again, congratulations on a runner-up position, runner-up finish, Jonathan. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you guys. Hope I'll talk to you again pretty soon.
We hope so.
Second place finisher, and that is officially scored as Jonathan Smith. And we are running down pit road to find the proper driver for third position. I believe you said that was Michael Sturgill.
He is. He's kind of in Discord terms. He's effing. Ah,
he's
there he
coming.
is.
Here he goes. There's third place finisher. I think we both ran together all the way down pit road. We've been running all over the place tonight. Sturgill, it's just like, what happened? What the hell happened on this last couple laps, man? Got a copy there. The 90. Third place finisher.
Speechless.
Speechless. Michael Sturgill, we'll give him, yeah, you got us? And he said something. I heard it.
Technical difficulties. I heard but some difficulties going on there.
You got me?
Now
I
we
got you now. There he is.
That's weird.
It's so weird that we're standing right next to you on pit road and we can't hear you. It's crazy. Michael's still having problems? Am I having problems?
Are you talking? Are you talking or no?
Are we talking?
Can you hear Bradley?
No, I can't hear Bradley at all. It's just
I guess.
Hold on.
You definitely.
I figured it out. Sorry, Bradley.
It's okay, man. I you know what? My wife wished she had that button my entire life. I promise.
Last week when we were running in Atlanta, remember we were in different races, so I muted everyone that was not in my race.
That.
Yeah, that's what happened.
I don't know what to say other than
I'm sorry.
I thought there was V-Speed After Dark drama I missed.
Yeah,
I apologize.
There is.
Apparently there is now.
Third place finish here tonight. We ran down pit road, and I guess I had to have a translator of Connor Horn to communicate to you that this race was complete chaos for the last 20 laps. It just got crazy all the way through. We had guys bumping and running. We had aggression levels at their max. At the end of this, you're scored P3, and iRacing's time in scoring, you're scored 19th. What happened?
Yeah, so I don't know. In the Discord, they have me as second. So I don't know what that all is about. The 81, when the caution came out at the end, the 81 was supposed to pull up in front of me, and he didn't by the time we crossed the line, so it gave me a black flag and put me at the very end of the lead lap, I guess, is what happened.
So iRacing's time and scoring kind of took over at that point with the black flag and put you all the way back to 19th. But can I just reestablish that we watched that 90 car go from like worst to first several times here tonight?
Yeah, I was fast. I don't think I was as fast as Chad, and he did not get the finish he deserved. But was trying to stay up front the whole time, and somebody had other plans for me, I guess. So had to try to make the best of it and drive up through the field.
Yeah, we saw a lot of different guys that deserved better finishes, but I feel like you getting that top three, you were one of those cars that in the first half of the race just you kept pace with the 09, you kept pace with I believe it was the 73 McWhorter. You were kind of pulling away from the rest of the field with those guys. So it kind of worked itself out. Yeah.
Martinsville, it's one, I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with it. I don't find it to be very fun to drive, but I am fast here, so I usually have decent finishes, and I'll take that.
Well, I have Connor Horn here with me, and we might as well. Connor, you have anything to add to this?
I just wanted to. I know you said something specific. Someone had other plans for you to go to the rear, but I just did kind of wanted to get your straight up view of that because obviously it was pretty dramatic, a pretty big fight for second, but there's also lap traffic in there. What happened from your point of view on that incident specifically?
Yeah, so Mark got put a lap down, and he moved out of the way for Chad. And then me and Mark have history, like good history. I've ran in other leagues with him, and so I figured he was gonna stay up high and let me, have the bottom. And I guess he was just turning in later than I was, and I already had committed to the bottom, and he started to come to the bottom, and I got up on the curb a little bit. So coming off the corner, I had like no momentum at all, and the 73 was right on me, so I drove it, to the inside to try to protect the bottom. And midway through the corner, I'm facing the wrong way after he said, "Oh, that's how it is," or something to that effect, and then I'm sitting sideways. So I watched the replay. He's like off of me entering the corner, and then all of a sudden his car is so far up my car's rear that he even got turned sideways himself.
That's where you file a restraining order, Sturgill.
Yeah, he doesn't think it, well, he's not going to say it was intentional, but I think everyone else that saw it knows the truth. So it is what it is. I'm part-time, so I'm just here to have fun. And I'm sure I'll run other races this season, and I'm sure we'll be around each other. And it really doesn't matter for me when we're talking about points.
Well, that note, do you have anybody that you would like to shout out and thank for the third place out of nowhere?
I know one person he won't thank.
Who would I not think? Yeah.
We were not obligated to say that.
In another league. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you guys up in the booth for putting on the broadcast. I know it can probably be rough when we're starting to get a bunch of cautions, but we did have a couple decent green flag runs.
Setting cautions tonight.
Did we really? Oh
Yes.
boy.
Well,
That's
short
rough.
history of the league, yes.
Yeah, that's true. But no, you guys, Chad, he's my, I guess, teammate, really. Or at least that's who I'm in Discord with during the race. And all the admins that put this league on. It's a fun league, and usually we get good green flag racing in, so that's always a good time.
We appreciate it, Michael, and thank you for your time. I know that you're part-time, but we look forward to maybe seeing you back up here in the broadcast booth and all the action that's going to follow, because it sounds like some things are going to happen. I'm excited for it. Appreciate it.
Yep. I hope to be talking to you guys again soon.
Michael Sturgill, officially the third place finisher here tonight.
Yes, and after that, we'll know probably tomorrow.
We'll know tomorrow. Officially, it's kind of like November 11th. You don't really know until tomorrow. You go out there to vote, and you don't really know until the next day. And even then, you might not know 4 or 5 days after that. We really don't know. But what I can tell you is that I enjoyed every single second here on V-Speed broadcasting this race. I know, Connor, you're on the same page with me.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, yes, we did have for the short history of the league, record set a number to the yellows, and at the end, yeah, it was unfortunate to see the race end under caution, but we still got good racing. We still had a few, at least 2 or 3 long green flag runs where we saw the drivers who were at the top of the crop really flex their muscle, and obviously some drivers who were at the front, like Chad Klinger, Joseph McWhorter, those are 2 guys who were top 3 for over, I believe, 3/5 of this race. Fortunately, and obviously Chad Klinger must have led 170 plus laps. Unfortunately, push comes to shove at the end of these races, especially at the paperclip. And when the bumpers start getting used, Chad Klinger, Joseph McWhorter, they were on the wrong end of it. Unfortunately, they didn't get the finishes they deserved, but it provided for absolutely wild sequences. And we saw it got pretty wild to the point where we only know the top 3. We don't know where anyone else finished. We won't know until tomorrow. But
I'm going to throw it up anyway. You just make your judgment based off of the information that I'm putting up on the screen. But 19 cautions, 7 lead changes, and disregard. We know first place is correct. Now, outside of that, we had our top 3 post-race interviews. You know who we talked to. Don't take this to heart. Unofficial results up on the screen, and this is all based off of categorically what iRacing is giving us. Outside of that, we're going to go all the way back to Mark.
We do kind of know these back guys, yeah. We did know Mark Whitley didn't start. Belts had a rough go with things. Chuck Sweeting went out in one of the crashes near the end. Chad Klinger, obviously, is the one we talked about. Started on pole. He dominated this race and doesn't get nearly the finish he deserves. And also Reggie Ortega back there, 22nd place after getting caught up in late race drama. He had a multitude of issues tonight. And also Joshua Banks. Don't know how official that is, but we know for sure he ended up on his lid.
Yeah, and he would have probably had to tow back to pit road, not able to mobilize that vehicle. We hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast here live on V-Speed. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a single race of Saturday Night Racing League. For myself, Connor Horn, Adam Baker, and everyone that makes it possible here at Saturday Night Racing League and V-Speed, we thank you for watching tonight's broadcast. Take care and have a great rest of your weekend, everybody.
And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The road gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Zwack.
A push from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club. Try to maybe make a third one.
This race still very undecided.
The bottom lane just doesn't have enough cars now. The rules have been reversed.
They're running out of time and they know it.
How about Noah Mikowski in the L3? He can easily in this battle. The bottom surges to the inside. Now pulls even with heading off the turn number 2.
900 horsepower at their feet.
Banks doesn't have a